Let us discuss about the window events. We have already discussed in the previous video about the mouse event. We'll continue now with the window events. The first thing is, what if the window is resized? So the display window here, if it is resized, what happens if it is resized? What is the meaning of resizing the window? If I have a display window, I can simply drag the display window in such a way that I can increase the size of it in horizontal direction, or I can drag the display window in the vertical direction upwards so that its height increases. Right, so the display window can be resized. You can drag it anyhow that you wish, right? Anyhow you wish. So now here, what happens there when you increase or decrease the size of the display window? I'm speaking about the graphics that is displayed inside the display window. What happens to this? So whenever you resize the window, the graphics displayed inside the display window also will be distorted, right? So here three question arises. Do we have to redraw all the objects that were in window before it was resized? Suppose if I'm resizing in the horizontal direction, I'll drag it in such a way that I'll increase the size of it in the horizontal direction. When I do that, what happens to the graphics inside the window? Should I redraw in such a way that the graphics also will be resized along with the window? Right, that is one question. Next is, what do we do if the aspect ratio of the new window is different from that of the old window? So after dragging in the horizontal direction, the display window width and the display window width changes here. Height remains the same. Why? Because I'm dragging it in the horizontal direction. So display window width increases. So the new aspect ratio, when I say aspect ratio, it's nothing but the ratio of width and height. So the aspect ratio changes there, correct? So here third question is, do we change the size or attributes of new primitives? Do we change it if the size of the new window is different from that of the old? See, now after the aspect ratio changes, the display window size is increased. Now what happens to this graphics? Whether the graphic should be redrawn in such a way that the graphics size also will increase, or width of that also will increase, or will adjust as per the new aspect ratio. So these are the three questions which has to be answered. So let's deal with these three. In OpenGL, we have a callback function called glut reshape, or there is an event called reshape event. So what is that event actually? That is the event that you perform with the display window. It's increasing the size of the display window or decreasing the size of the display window, or it can be minimizing, maximizing, or destroying the window. So all these are the events that you perform with the display window. So there what happens? The height and width of the display window changes. So in that case, we actually create, whenever such reshape event occurs, we are supposed to do three things. So what is it? First one is, we create a new clipping window inside the display window. So if I have this as my computer screen, I will take one region there as my display window, and that display window will have a fixed width and height there. And now inside that display window, I will have something called as a clipping rectangle. So clipping rectangle usually I specify in OpenGL with the help of a function GLU ortho 2D. So I have in my clipping rectangle few parameters, that is left, right, bottom and top. This left, right, bottom and top I adjust as per the width and height of the display window. So here whenever this window changes, size changes, the clipping window or the clipping rectangle size also should change. So that is the first thing. And the second thing is, the new viewport also should be drawn with the same aspect ratio. So what is it? When I resize this display window, inside the display window there is something called as a viewport that is drawn. So what is a viewport? It is by default, it is same as display window, but this viewport is resizable. So I'll take usually the viewport position and the width and height of viewport, usually I'll take same as that of the display window width and height. So whenever this display window changes, size changes, viewport size also should change. That is the second point. Third point is we clear the window to black. So what is that we do? We set the display window, we clear the window to black after performing this reshape function. Okay, so these are the three things that we perform when we undergo this reshape event. I hope this reshape event is clear. That is all about the window resizing, increasing or decreasing the size of the window or the aspect ratio of the display window when it changes. Okay, so we will just go to the next example of this reshape event. You can just see this function now. The function is void my reshape. So glut reshape function is a function that we call from main. The moment we perform this resizing action, when resizing event, the moment we perform this event, this function is called. What is that? The moment we increase or decrease the size of the display window, this function will be automatically called. And what are the written values? The written values when we resize the window is the new width and height. So whenever I increase the, say suppose my display window I'm dragging in a vertical direction, I'm dragging upwards. Okay, so what changes there? Width remains the same. See, this is the display window. Width remains the same, but what changes there is height. So there the new aspect ratio of the display window, the resized display window is returned. So width and height. Now your function is as it is. You call GL matrix mode, set it as projection, then first matrix should be identity matrix, and as the first step indicates, you have to also resize the clipping rectangle. So how do I resize the clipping rectangle? You can see here clipping rectangle parameters are given by left, right, bottom and then top. So here left is taken as 0, bottom is also taken as 0, and then when it comes to right here, right is nothing but it indicates the width, right, indicates the width there, right? So whereas the last parameter top indicates the height. So top is here indicates height, width indicates right. So you can just see here the new clipping rectangle here is set in this way. Left and bottom remains the same, but whereas the width the right will be set to the new aspect ratio WW, that indicates the new width, and the new height here indicates here WH, that is nothing but the top of the display, top of the clipping rectangle. So a new clipping rectangle I am defining inside my display window, resized display window. So the left and bottom remains the same 0 0, whereas the right is changed to new width and the top is changed to new height. So second step is done, first step is done. What next? You set back the default mode to model view, then again you set the identity, and now the second step says, you can go to the previous slide and just check there. First step is selecting, resizing the clipping window. This was our first step there. The second step there is you define a new viewport. A new viewport is defined. Now what are the parameters that you set for the new viewport? The position of the viewport is 0 0 first, left and the top left corner, you can say it is bottom left is taken as 0 0, it's 0 0. Once that is done, what next? WH. What is this WH? It is the new size that you have obtained after resizing, new size of the display window, that is width and height. New width and height of the display window is set to your viewport as well. And then now as usual you continue, you set the display window background color to black. That is the third step. Set the background of the display window to black, transparent. Okay, and then you refresh the buffer. That means you erase all the previous contents of the buffer through GL clear function, and then call this GL flash. So these are the three things that you have to do whenever a reshape function is called. Reshape is nothing but you are increasing or decreasing the size of the display window. First step is you resize your clipping window parameter. So their right and top parameter is set to the new aspect ratio. So the new width and height of the display window is returned whenever the event occurs. Second step is a new viewport is you define a new viewport with the new width and height of the resized window. Third step is setting the background to black. Now let's continue with the next type of event. We have already completed the mouse callback event and the reshape callback event. Now the third callback event is keyboard. Now, so what is a keyboard event? Whenever you press any key, this glut keyboard function will be called. Okay, the moment you, this is a callback function. The moment you press a key, automatically this function is called, and then you pass a parameter for this, that is keyboard function, and this is a user defined function keyboard, for which the two values are returned. Whenever you press a key, automatically three values are returned. So what are those three values returned when you press a key? Just like a mouse, whenever you click a mouse button, four information is written for mouse. One is the button, which button is clicked. Next is the status of the button, that is up or down, and then the position of the mouse, that is XY coordinate. So four values are written. Now here for keyboard function, three values are written. First is the character, which key is pressed. It is the data type is character, which alphabet key is pressed. So that is written, and then you have the next two parameter which indicates the current position, cursor position. The current cursor position is written, which is given by X coordinate and Y coordinate. Okay, so this is a keyboard function, and then before you assign an action to this event, you can check a condition here. What is that condition? You just check which key has been pressed. Okay, so assign a key. So just check a condition. If the key value is equal to Q, small q or capital Q, any one, if it is true, then you just quit, something like that, right? So you can call a exit function. So this exit is an action that you have assigned for this particular event. Whenever you press a Q button, so exit should be called. Next we have our display function, glut display function, which has to be invoked. But instead of again and again calling this glut display function, or in order to again and again redisplay the contents, okay, after you press a key, again your display function should be called. But instead of calling this again, we can have an alternate to that. What is it? It is glut post redisplay. It's glut post redisplay. Okay, so what is this function glut post redisplay here? This is same as your glut display function. So here a flag is set. Immediately when you call this, a flag will be set, and which will redirect to your display function, and this display function will be again executed. It will be again called. So that is how you are redisplaying the graphics after performing keyboard function. Okay, after this key pressing event is occurring, the action will be performed, and after certain action is performed, this display function is called in order to redraw the graphics. Now you have one more OpenGL callback function here. You call it as an idle function. So what is idle here? The name itself says, see, the callback function is glut. It's glut, and then you call this idle, IDLE, glut idle, FUNC. Okay, so it is glut idle function, and you pass a parameter to this, any user defined function you pass. Okay, so glut idle function you call. So what is this idle? See, the moment I execute my display window, initially I'm not interacting with my display window. That means what? I will not click any mouse button, I will not press any key or nothing. I'll not perform any event. So when there are no events occurring, my display window will be idle, right? So whenever such case occurs, whenever my display window is idle, or when no other events are occurring like mouse click or keyboard press, then even then in that case you can call one function. You can assign some action to that. When no events are occurring, when the things are idle, you can assign one action to that, whichever action. For example, I am displaying on the screen say one triangle or something, okay? And the moment I execute my program, my display window is drawn on the screen, and inside the display window a triangle is going to appear. Let me write a program for a triangle to spin here, okay? So the moment I execute the program, my triangle should start spinning without any mouse click, without any keyboard press. My triangle should be spinning there continuously. That means what? The screen will be idle. So when the screen is idle, my triangle should be continuously spinning. So that means when no event is occurring like mouse click or key press, one function I can assign. So what is that function? Spinning of the triangle. So this is actually idle callback function. So next we have our next additional window management function. Suppose if I want multiple display window to be displayed on the screen. So not just one display window, multiple display window. So in that case, I can again go for glut create window. The second time I'm calling glut create window in the main, but this time give us proper title like second window. And then you remember, whenever I call this glut create window, there is one unique identification number that is written, integer value. So that integer value I'm going to store in a variable called id. Okay, so glut create window, when you call integer value is returned, and that you're going to store here, which I'm going to use later, okay, in order to display the graphics. Okay, so after doing that, what am I doing here? Remember, I have one more create window function just before this, and that create window is for my first window. Glut create window that I'm calling in my main will be for first window. Now this is the second window I'm creating, and the second window id I'm going to store there, which I'm going to use later to set the second window as my current window. So if I want to set this second window as my current window, that means I want to get this second window to foreground. Okay, so in that case I should call this function glut set window id. So it is something like this. This is my screen. Okay, inside the screen I have a display window, usually one display window, but this time I'm creating one more display window which is there at the behind. But now the second window I want to get it to foreground. I don't want it to be behind. I want to set it to foreground. So what do? I'll call glut set window, but remember the proper ID you should pass there. Okay, so this is how you're going to do. And now for this new window, again I can call this function glut init display mode. Okay, so glut init display mode will initialize buffers for this new window. So I can do that just before calling glut create window. So before glut create window, I can call glut init display mode, then I can call this glut create window, so initialize id, and then I can call glut set window, and by passing the proper id. So all the callback functions you can define for the second window as well. Now the last part is creation of menus. We have seen one event, that is mouse click event. Next we moved on to reshape event, resizing the window, and then we moved on to keyboard event. Okay, and now we have the menu driven event. And what is that menu driven event? So all of you would have seen the menus. So we have multiple menus that can be created. For example, if I open a MS Word, you get there many menus on top, and toolbar, right? So what is it? File menu, edit menu, view menu, review. So all these are the different menus that appears on the top of your MS Word application. So what is it menu? The moment you click on any one menu, a drop down appears. That drop down contains multiple options there, so you will be able to click on any option. So some even has multiple sub options inside that, so I can call it as sub menu inside a menu. right? So open file menu, and in file menu again, when you have an option called save there, the moment you click on save, it will redirect you to your one sub menu again, which will give you some more option, like some more options there, right? So something like that, right? So open, when you give again, when you click on open, there it will give you a sub menu which has multiple options there. So sub menu also can be created. So here in OpenGL also we can create such menu. Okay, so menu is also one of the way to interact with the graphics. So you can have, if you define a menu, you should have different entries. So you should define the menu entries. So entry 1, entry 2, entry 3, any number of entries that you wish to do, and then using the mouse you should be able to select each of the menu option, right? Only by using the mouse you can select this menu option. So what you can do, next step is link the menu to a mouse button. So what is that? One is selecting the option inside the menu. Before that, when this menu should appear, not immediately when you display the display window. When you open the display window, this menu will not appear. Usually, see, when you right click on the window, the menu should appear. So I can do that. What is that I'm doing? I'm attaching the mouse click to the menu. So what is that? When I click a right button or left button, the menu will appear on the display window. So I'm using a mouse button to make or to get the menu on the screen. So linking menu to a mouse button is the second step. Third step is you define a callback for each of the menu entry. So these are the menu entries I have here. Suppose this menu is a color menu, okay, and on the display window I have multiple objects displayed. So this is a color menu, right? So what would be the entries in my color menu? Say colors, red, green, then blue, then yellow. So these are the different colors that I'm going to have inside my menu. So for each of this menu entry, I should assign an action. What is that? The moment I click on this red button, what should happen? All my objects on the display window should turn to red. So I should write a piece of code to convert all the objects to red. So whenever I click a mouse button on this option red, on this menu entry red, I should be now defining one function, callback function, okay, and in that callback function I should write a piece of code to convert all the objects to red color. Similarly, when I click on this green, I should write a piece of code there to change the color, that is from old color to this new green color. So there I am assigning an action to each of the menu entry in the third option, right? So the first option is you should define the entries, and after defining the entries you should assign a mouse button to the menu to link to the menu. That means when you right click, this menu should appear. So mouse you are linking to the menu. Third one is for each of the option you should assign a specific action through callback function. So in OpenGL we have all these functions to create the menu. The first function is glut create menu, and you see here a value is returned whenever you create a menu. We'll see that in the example. Next OpenGL function is after creating a menu, go on entering the menu entries. You may have multiple menu entries, menu options. So you go on entering each of the entry. So each of the entry is made by the function glut add menu entry. So the first option there is, or the first parameter there that you pass is the name of the menu, the name or the label that you assign for each of the menu entry. You call it as a label or name for the entry, and next the corresponding value. So a unique ID is assigned to each of the menu entry. Like in my previous example I said red, green, blue, yellow are the 4 entries. Their red is the name and the corresponding ID you assign to each of that value. So it's a continuous number. Red will get value 1, next green will get value 2, then blue will get value 3, then yellow will get value 4. So these are the continuous numbers that is assigned for each of the menu entries. Now I can also have a sub menu created. So what is that sub menu? Suppose I have the first option something like color is a first menu value. Next one menu option is quit. So this is a menu. First entry is color, second entry is quit. So this color I am going to have as a sub menu again. The moment I click on this, a sub menu should appear for me. A sub menu should appear for me. Sub menu is again a new menu that is appearing the moment I click this color button, color option. So what are the entries inside this sub menu? It should be all colors that should be displaying. So RGB are the colors that is displaying the moment I click on this color option. So such sub menu also I can create here. So the first option is the name that you create, name for the menu. Okay, and then next int menu. This menu is nothing but the one which will be linking my sub menu to the main menu. Okay, we will see that in the example. And then the last OpenGL function is attaching a button. So left button, mouse button, or middle mouse button, or right mouse button, any button you can attach. The moment you suppose say right click, then the menu should appear. So here right click button should be, right button should be attached to the menu in that case. Okay, and now here we have our first function, glut create menu. So in glut create menu, you can call this as a callback function. So whenever a menu item is selected, immediately this glut create menu function is invoked. Okay, and here the value is one of the parameter that you are specifying within this glut create menu. So this value corresponds to the selected menu entry, value of the selected menu entry. So if my menu is a color menu, so I said the first menu option, say if it is red color, the moment I click on the red color, the value associated with this red entry, the first menu entry, the value associated with this red, that is say 1, the first value will take 1, that value is returned here. Or if I click on, say second one is G, third one if it is B, the moment I click on B, immediately the value 3 should be returned here. Okay, so it is the integer value that returns over here, the menu identifier. Next we have glut add menu entry. So the first value should be the label. Say in our color menu, red is a label, green is a label. So R you can assign as a label, or G you can assign as a label. So value is nothing but the identifier, ID, the unique ID that is written for each of the label. The last one is attach menu. As I said, you can attach left button, middle button, or right button. So here int button. So button is these three options, any one of the option you can add. And if you don't want to attach, if you want to remove the button, so you can just call the function glut detach menu int button. So you can detach the left button, okay, if you don't want to have this left button to be attached to the menu, so you can use this function. Here is an example which you can try out. All the OpenGL functions related to menu is used here. So the first one is glut create menu, and here I pass a parameter, and that parameter is a function. So this function will be called immediately demo menu. Okay, so when this will be invoked actually in OpenGL, see this part of the code, from glut create menu till this glut attach menu, this part of the code you can add directly in the main. Okay, so the moment you call this glut create menu, it will redirect you to the demo menu. But when this function will be invoked, actually this function demo menu will be invoked the moment user clicks on a particular menu entry. You can see one sample menu. When this menu will be appearing, so you can see the last option here, glut right button is attached for this menu. The moment you click on the right button, this menu appears. So here you can see what are these options inside the menu. So you can see glut add menu entry. You have added the first entry to your menu, and that is quit. So quit is the first entry. See the first letter is in caps. So the quit is a label that you have given, and what is the corresponding ID you have assigned? ID will not appear on the menu. That ID is the one which you assign to this menu entry. So ID for quit is 1. Next, second entry is increase square size. Increase square size. So the ID corresponding to this entry is 2. This is not displayed. Third one is decreasing the square size. So 3. So right button. The moment you click on the right, mouse button, this menu appears. Now user will move ahead. He will first click on say quit. The option quit is now chosen. So immediately you click on, when the user clicks on quit, the control redirects to the demo menu. So what value is returned? ID is returned. What is ID associated with quit? It is 1. So this value 1 is directly returned here. The value ID value is equal to 1, that is returned here. And now inside this you have specified a condition. So if ID is equal to 1, what are you supposed to do? You assign an action. You're supposed to exit. You're supposed to exit from the display window, quit. So suppose if the user selects the second option, click on the second option, ID2 is returned. So what is that ID2? Assign an action here, ID2. So if ID is equal to 2, as the name indicates, the label indicates, increase the square size. So how do you increase the square size? Double the square size. If size is a parameter, size into 2. And the third option is decrease square size. So when you click on this option, automatically ID3 is returned. So if the last condition, so if the ID is 3, then reduce the size of the square. So remember, after doing all these, okay, if any one of this or all this, so after that you have to redisplay the graphics. You have to specify this function glut post redisplay. Why? Because you need to observe the changes there. So changes occurring there. If I click on increase square size, the moment you click on redisplay, your graphics this time is redisplayed on the screen with the increased size. So the moment I click on decrease square size, now what is going to happen? Here parameter I have set, but the entire graphics, this is not applied to your graphics that is displayed. Suppose on the screen I have one triangle displayed, and that triangle size should increase if I select this second option. If I select this second option, the triangle size should double. So when the triangle size will double, the only when you call this display function. So because inside the display function you have told the entire graphics, you have defined the graphics inside the display function. So your display function should be called, but this time your triangle will be redrawn with the increased size. Okay. Or if you want to decrease the size, you will click on this. So when you click on the third option, ID3 is returned and the third condition is true. And this time, after you call the display function, triangle is redrawn on the screen, but this time the size of the triangle is reduced. So that is how you have to again and again call the display function in order to redraw the graphics. Okay, I hope this menu option is clear. Here is an option now for your sub menu thing. So you can just see here, the main menu creation is simple, but how to create the sub menu? Always remember, you have to note that sub menu should be created first before you create main menu. Okay, before you create main menu, hierarchy is first you have to create the sub menu and then you have to create this main menu. So you can just see here, resize is an option that you have assigned, and the moment you click on resize, the sub menu should appear, which contains two entries: increase square size and decrease square size. So first let us create this sub menu. So call the function glut create menu, same function glut create menu, but this time you call a new function called size menu. Okay, so call the size menu. So what you should define inside size menu? Size menu should contain two conditions, two things. What is that? First one is glut. Okay, size menu should contain two conditions. First condition is, we will see that ID and later we'll see that condition. Okay, we'll continue with this entry, glut add menu entry. So for this sub menu you are now adding the entry. First entry is increase square size. Remember, I'm assigning the ID 2 here. Okay, I'm assigning the ID 2. Next, decrease the square size, I'm assigning the ID 3. So what are the two IDs? 2 and 3 is returned. Okay, for this two entries. Now sub menu labels are created. Now you go to the main menu. So main menu, you can say glut create menu, again you are creating. So this time the menu that you are using for this is top menu. Earlier this was size menu. So this definition you should define. So top menu definition also you should define. Now let's continue with the entry. The first label inside this main menu is quit. The second entry here for this main menu is resize, and the moment you click on this resize, actually you should be redirected to submenu. What is this submenu? The submenu is nothing but the ID of the submenu that you had created in the first statement. See, the first statement says about the creation of submenu. The moment you create this, an ID is returned. That ID corresponds to the submenu, and that is stored in this variable. So this submenu ID you are going to use here for this resize option. Why? Because the moment you click on this, it should be redirected now to your new submenu. So what is that submenu here? So it is this increase square size and decrease square size. And now you can attach one button. Right button is attached. That means the moment you click on the right button, your menu appears, main menu appears. Okay, so you can just see here, you can add a condition now for your submenu. What is that? It is not shown here. If increase size option, I mean if ID returned is equal to 2, then what are you supposed to do? Size should be increased. So size is equal to size into 2. And then one more condition, else if ID is equal to 3, then decrease the size. Size is equal to size by 2. So these are the two conditions you can assign. Now inside which function? Inside size menu function. Similarly, top menu function also you can define separately. So what is that you do? If ID is equal to 1, here ID 1 is used. If ID is equal to 1, then call exit function. Okay, so that is a condition that you are going to assign. Okay, finally you have an question here. You have a question here which you can practice on your own. You can implement this. Create a menu with the two option quit and clear. This is one separate menu. Okay, and assign right button to this menu. So assign right button to this menu. It has two option, quit and clear. Assign one more button to a new menu. Create one more menu on the screen, but this time assign middle button and have three options in it. One is color, next is pixel size, third one is fill. And create three submenus. For color, there is a submenu you can create with all these options. For pixel size, you can create a submenu with these two options. And for fill, you can create a submenu called fill on and fill off option. So for all these options, you can assign your own conditions. And then remember to redisplay the graphics.